Hey everybody, welcome back to A Glittery Life. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. This is one of my favorite videos to film every year. This is the best of from the year prior. So today is my best of 2018, my makeup and beauty favorites, and every single one of these products, in order to get into this category, had to have come out this last year in 2018 or has to be new to me in 2018. I couldn't have used it before that. So I don't include all those things that I talk about like a broken record that are from previous years or previous launches. These are strictly new to me in 2018 products. So, and honestly, I kind of kept my list pretty concise this year and really a little bit more on the short and sweet end of things. I know people do really elaborate videos. I have done some in past years, very elaborate. In fact, maybe I'll link some of those. We'll go back into the archives. We'll see some old hairstyles of mine and some older filming setups. Yikes. Anyway, also just want to draw your attention to right now. If you haven't seen it, I am doing a Glittery Life 7-day challenge. It's a challenge that I created for content for this channel, for you guys, and for my followers on Instagram at both my accounts at A Glittery Life Plans and TrishaLee_W. Just a great way to kind of jumpstart the year and how to get 2019 off to a really good start. It doesn't cost anything. It's completely free. And it's not connected to a multi-level marketing or pyramid type scheme. I'm not selling you anything. I'm just using a lot of my good tools about life, like some of my consulting skills and counseling skills and just kind of life skills to create something to help you be more intentional. It's not rocket science. They're all really easy challenges. So I'll put the video that talks about that down below so you can see that and start. Anyway, let me talk favorites since that's why you guys are here. I had two primers that I let be. Oh, actually, sorry. Let me start with skincare. I had a lot of skincare products that I really loved this year, but I have one product that stands out to me so much as something that really changed my skin. And one of those things that if you think basically from September to now, if you've thought to yourself when you've seen me on video or on my Insta stories when I never have any makeup on, if you're like, oh, her skin looks so good, it is this one product. This is the Honor Yourself by my friend Patrick Santana, and this is his Grateful Everyday Daily Ritual Serum. He is a local Los Angeles makeup artist, and that's how we know each other. And he's created his own line called Honor Yourself, and he has a night serum called Blessed Every Night. And then this is his day serum, Grateful Every Day, which is the one that really I have focused on using and I love so much. I use 2 drops, 1 to 2 drops every day after I wash my face in the morning. And I cannot believe what this has done to my skin. So he talks about the benefits that he lists are that it repairs and protects from environmental radiation and sun damage. It's moisturizing, plumping, antibacterial, anti-aging, anti-inflammatory. It heals eczema and psoriasis. It's got vitamin E, antioxidant to protect and enhance cell regeneration, elasticity, and tone. Plus it's Mother Earth, he calls it Mother Earth's UVA, UVB, and sun protection. So I still definitely wear sunscreen because of how fair I am, but this does have a little bit of sun protection in it as well that's in a natural way. So I just cannot say enough about this. I will I'll put a link down to him below. I have no benefit to telling you about this. I don't make any money. In fact, on any of these products, I don't make any money. For anything that's from Beautylish, I will use my affiliate link with them. You don't have to use it, but it doesn't cost you anything. And it shows Beautylish that I'm a great supporter for them. So let's do that. Anyway, that has been the thing that's really changed me. And you can get this off his website. I really honestly cannot believe how good my skin is for that. And it's not that expensive, which is really cool. Okay, 2 primers that I've really, really liked. One that's a little bit more expensive and one that's a little bit less expensive. I'll start with the less expensive, the more affordable one. This is the BDL Satin Veil Primer. And this launched on Beautylish this summer. And in fact, this is the primer that I wore for my wedding and I loved it. I've used it consistently since then. I've put it away for a little bit though, because I'm actually trying to make a dent in this other primer because I feel like this one could potentially dry out faster. It's Tatcha the Silk Canvas. It's their Filter Finish Protective Primer. Holy moly. You guys, this is such a good primer. I've actually hit pan right here in the center of it. You barely need any. You need the amount of a grain of rice for this primer, but as soon as you put it on, the way I do it is I tap my finger in, I get a little thin layer of my finger, and then I blend it out with my fingers. And I watch it just fill in texture and pores and fine lines and just blur and smooth everything. I love this so much that before I had even really made a dent in it, I'm really proud of myself. I actually think I can use this up in the next, probably 6 months, the first half of this year. I mean, it's pretty, actually, maybe this year. Maybe this has to go in my use up this year goals. But in that case, it would still be good if it took me all year to use up, it would still be good. So I don't know. Anyway, needless to say, I think you can see instant results with this and I just love it. Okay, let's see, let me think about like going in order here. Let's talk about 2 foundations that I used all year long that I really, really loved and really appreciated. Let's get my hair back. It's a little staticky right now. I think it's so cold and windy in LA right now. I love it. I'm not gonna lie. It's like finally we get like a couple weeks in January that are our winter and we are in that right now. So number 1 is the Tom Ford Traceless Perfecting Foundation with SPF 15. My shade is 3.5 Ivory Rose. This is one of the most beautiful foundations I have ever worn, and it has easily replaced the Guerlain Lingerie de Peau as my favorite foundation of life. This is my new favorite foundation. I have it on today. I wear it a lot, and in fact, repurchased it this year. So I'm pretty sure. I think so. And then the other foundation that I've really loved this year is the YSL, and this is their All Hours foundation. My shade is BR20. It is so beautiful. It's up to 24 hours of flawless matte full coverage. I typically don't like matte foundations, but this one is gorgeous and it doesn't look like a matte foundation. It just looks really healthy. And a lot of times I mix it with my, oh my gosh, what are they called? My Armani Glow Drops. I know they're put away, but my whatever that, like, oh my gosh, why can't I think right now what they are called? Liquid Summer, my Maestro Liquid Summer. I'll mix 1 or 2 drops of this in with my foundation all the time to give my skin just more of that like kind of sunny glow to it. But this is their All Hours foundation. I wore this for my wedding. I was so pleased with it. I had been wearing it for weeks ahead of time. Actually for probably 2 months before my wedding, on and off, just to make sure that I really liked it. And that I was going to wear that instead of the Tom Ford on my wedding. And that was definitely a better choice. It lasted longer. The Tom Ford is a little bit less coverage. The All Hours is definitely a full coverage. Whereas the Tom Ford, I would call it like a medium coverage foundation. So it's very beautiful, but it's the All Hours. If you are an Estee Lauder Double Wear fan, I would suggest that you try the All Hours foundation. It certainly has topped the Double Wear foundation for me in terms of favorites. In terms of concealer, I'm not a big concealer person. I don't wear a lot of concealer. You guys know how I feel about all that under eye concealer, so I don't need to mention it, how I feel about it, because you already know. But I want to draw attention to a concealer that I really liked this year. This came out in the second half of the year, and this is the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. Now they've had this concealer, but they expanded the shade range, and they finally have a shade that's better for me. This is shade 13.0 Light Natural, and it's a neutral color. But I love that Light Natural. I have it on today on my under eyes. It does brighten them up a little bit, but not too much so that they look like white. It's very natural looking, which is why I think it's called Light Natural. So their shade range expansion, excuse me, was such a win for me this year. Okay, let's talk about the setting powder that I just think is one of the best setting powders ever. It is the Hourglass. I'm sure this is going to be in a lot of people's favorites, to be honest. I would be surprised if it's not. This is the Hourglass Translucent Setting Powder. And, oh my gosh, it's so good. It feels like a lot of products. It's like 10.5 grams because the packaging is so big, but it's really not that much product. My only downside is I don't like the packaging. I mean, it's less of a mess, I feel like, but I don't know. I feel like I have to take my product out of the top and it's in that tiny little thing. I don't know. I like a bigger powder brush. In fact, I've been using it with the Smith Cosmetics 154 powder brush. Like, love this. This is such a good brush. And so I just like a little bit more like surface area, but that's just the packaging, and I'm not going to judge a product by its packaging. You can't see it on your face. It is just such a beautiful blurring powder that I never feel like it maximizes my pores. I don't feel like it settles into fine lines. I don't feel like it ever looks cakey. Now, part of that is like application and technique in terms of cakiness, but it's really beautiful. And I do feel like it sets my makeup all day long. So that's a win for me. I didn't pick a blush or a bronzer this year. This was my first year. I could have done the Marc Jacobs bronzer for sure, because this was my first year having that, and I am obsessed with it. So I don't know why I didn't include that. I should have included that. I think because I talked about that recently in another video, I just kind of was like, meh. But I do have two highlights that I have to draw your attention to. No shock. My favorite highlight of life ever replaced my previous favorite highlights is the Natasha Denona Super Glow. Obviously, I wear shade 1 Fair, and it is what I have on today. If you can see that in this lighting, I'm filming with a little bit more natural light today, which is really nice. I feel like it gives like a good, very true to life like coloring in the video. This is just one of the most beautiful highlights. It's crushed pearl. It's not glitter. It doesn't enhance the pores. It actually just melts into the skin and looks like the most beautiful ethereal glow. Great shade range, 3 different shades. And shade 2 is their universal shade, which works for most people. And then I wanted to throw in the Charlotte Tilbury Bar of Gold palette. I do feel like a little bit of a broken record about these two products, but it was really hard for me to distinguish which one I liked better because I have worn them both so much this year, and think they're both so pretty. And then this palette has 3 different shades. It's got that original Bar of Gold, Rose Gold, and the Gold Button. So I don't know, I just think it's so pretty. So pretty. And really not that expensive considering it's a palette of 3 highlights. I feel like my mind just went a little bit empty there for a second. Sorry about that. Let's see, where am I at on this? I have one lip product. I mean, I tested out a ton of lip products this year, but one that's like really kind of stuck with me that I've been using the heck out of. It's Tom Ford, and it is the Lumiere Lip Balm in the Universal Illuminator in shade 2 Glimmer. It's what I'm wearing today. It's really not a ton of color. It's just more of like a balmy sheen on the lips. And I always love when Tom Ford does these like lip balms. I think they're so beautiful and so wearable and so comfortable and so hydrating and just really pretty. So this and their Lip Slick have been my 2 favorites of the year. The Lip Slick, I'll link it down below since it's down in my purse. I'm not going to go down and get it, but I will link it down below so that you can see what I'm talking about. You've heard me talk about it before, but those 2 have absolutely been my lip products of the year. And then in terms of eyeshadow, I picked out 2 eyeshadow palettes, and very on the opposite ends of the spectrum, but also large palettes. The first one I want to talk about is the MAC Warm Neutrals palette. It's so funny to me to have a MAC in my a MAC product in my favorites. It's been so long since I've had a MAC product in my favorites, but man, that used to be like so much MAC in my yearly favorites. This palette I bought this year, and it was on some crazy deal. I got it for $39 for this big palette. They shipped it to me. I got it overnight for free shipping, and I'm so pleased with the shade range, and I really do still like that MAC quality in terms of their shadow. I think they do a beautiful job in the shadows, but the shade range is such a nice everyday palette. So if you can find this one, I would highly recommend it, especially if you're just looking for something quick and easy to wear. It's a mix of mattes and their shimmers. Nothing too crazy, nothing too glittery. I think it's their satins and their VXPs, their pearls. There's 1 luster or 2 lusters in here, which those would be the most like sparkly, the most glittery. But really, I traveled with this multiple times this year, and I know I never talked about it in videos because I didn't do like weekly or monthly favorites this year. I just never had time. In fact, I was very thin on the content this year in general, which is why maybe you haven't heard me talk about a lot of these products, but I definitely use things over and over and over all year long, and that's kind of how I come up with my favorites. And then this should be no surprise to anybody, but this is the Natasha Denona Gold palette. At first I was very like, this is my photographing one. I actually have two of them, which is really cool. So this is the one that I just used to photograph. I was totally underwhelmed when I saw this palette at first and was kind of like, gosh, what a boring like palette. And then I started diving into it and I started using it in my kit. I used it on myself. I did a really cool holiday smoky eye look with those two teal colors. I'll link that video down below as well if you haven't seen that tutorial. You guys always ask for tutorials and then you don't watch them. Why? I don't understand. Watch the tutorial. I show you how easy these palettes are to use. I show you how easy it is to get a smoky eye. But this palette really, I feel like, is such a showstopper, and it's the same great quality that we have come to expect from Natasha, and just the really beautiful pigments. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I think this is a great companion palette as well as some of her other palettes. So, you know, my favorite palette from her is the Lila palette, in which this is very opposite end of the spectrum of that palette, but it's so beautiful and so luxurious, totally worth the splurge. And I think anybody could be successful using this palette. So if you're like, if you haven't done a deep dive into Natasha yet and you're like, where do I start? I mean, I tell everybody to get the Lila palette just because it's my favorite, but this would be a really good palette to start with in terms of her larger palettes. Then I want to talk about what I think is like the best new launch of the year. It's gotta go to Sonia G. I could not be more proud of her. She's a friend of mine. Thank you, social media, for making us friends. Thank you, Beautylish, for making us friends. But we got a chance to meet this year when she was in Los Angeles and spend the day together. Even regardless of that, I would have talked about this anyhow, because I do think that her brushes, these are three that I use a lot. You can see, sorry, this one's dirty because I used it today. It's my favorite contouring brush ever. It's the most beautiful sculpt. It's the Sculpt One. And it is such a beautiful brush. It's huge. And people are always like, how do you sculpt with that? And I'm like, well, it blends for you. So it's perfect for that. And then this is her base one, her foundation brush. And then I love this smudger. I think this is the smudger too. Shoot. Her eye set is down in my kit right now. I've been testing her eye set in my kit for the last couple of weeks. But I would definitely suggest starting with her eye set or starting with individuals, and these are all great ones. I don't have a brush. She doesn't have a brush that I don't like, if that says anything. So congratulations, Sonia, on an incredible brush launch, because these made my best of in a big way. I reached for them. I can't believe how much I reached for them. So, and then just to be cheeky, the best outfit of the year was definitely my wedding dress. If you haven't seen any of my wedding photos, I don't know where you've been. They are all on my Instagram, so you can go to @TrishaLee_W to see my wedding photos. I do have a new Instagram also, a Glittery Life Plans, and it's all about planner stuff and organizational stuff, and just how to be efficient and effective and whatever, and how to have a cute planner. So you can follow that account as well. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching. This was my best of 2018, and let me know if there's anything that I talked about that you don't have, that you're thinking about picking up, or that's been on your list, or that you've been on the fence about. And if you want to go the extra mile and tell me one of your favorites for this year, I would love to hear it. So thank you guys for watching, and honestly, as always, you guys are really my favorite. You guys are the true MVP of a glittery life. So love you guys so much, and I hope you have the best day ever. Bye.